Good morning, everybody. Mark Finan here in the Home Weather Office on this Wednesday morning. It's now the 25th day of June, 2025. This is the morning briefing. Looking out the window from the Home Weather Office, we have blue sky, a little breeze. It's a comfortable morning. It is, however, going to be a warmer day today than yesterday when temperatures in many areas stayed in the 80s. I'll show you the climate report here in a second. But for the next few days, we are going to be getting into the 90s in the afternoons, but the overnights still look as though they're going to be pretty comfortable. And there is still a chance we could be up around 100 over the course of the weekend. We're winding down these last few days of June and haven't hit 100 yet in June. Did a couple of days in May, at least officially in downtown Sacramento or at Executive Airport. Let's see what's happening this morning. This is exactly the sort of shot you want to see during the course of the summer. We have the marine layer on the coast. We even had a wisp of that go into the valley first thing this morning, as you can see right here. And you can also see it evaporates pretty quickly once the sun comes up. But if you're up early enough, maybe around 6:30 or 7, you may have seen some of that low overcast if you were in parts of Sacramento County and maybe even out toward the Folsom area, but it all dissipated very quickly. Otherwise, we have clear skies, a nice marine layer, but that marine layer will start to get squashed a little bit, and we will start to see warmer afternoons and less of an influence of the Delta breeze, but still enough of an onshore breeze over the next couple of days to bring in some overnight cooling, getting the overnight lows down into the upper 50s to around 60. Yesterday, nice for this time of year. Sacramento at Executive Airport, 85. And you can also see what time that happened. At 3 o'clock is when that happened, which meant that the Delta breeze came up in the afternoon to help knock the temperatures down. Usually at this time of year, if you don't have a Delta breeze, you'll start to see the highest temperature of the day in the 4:30 to 5:30 time frame. So yeah, if that happens at 3 o'clock, that means that something happened in the warmest part of the day, and that meant it was the onshore breeze. And then for today, the record high once again is from the 1920s, 111 from 1925. People often forget that the 20s and 30s did produce some very hot temperatures here in the valley. But the average as of this time of year is 90. As we get into July, that goes into the mid-90s. But that's what we did yesterday. But that 85 yesterday, probably the coolest day we're going to see for a little while. So let's talk a little bit about the chance of thunderstorms. There were some beautiful thunderheads yesterday over the Sierra. Today, the NAM nest is just showing the hint of maybe some buildups along the crest of the Sierra near Highway 395. But probably less extensive than what we saw yesterday. And the NAM nest shows even more than the HRRR. The HRRR doesn't have any of this, so I showed you the most aggressive model. So the chance of thunderstorms, at least for now, is going to be dissipating because even during the day Thursday, the NAM nest doesn't show anything. So yeah, if for those of you that do things outdoors, there may be a buildup around Topaz Lake and down toward Bodie and Mono Lake, but doesn't look as though it's going to be as extensive as the last couple of days. And in terms of temperatures, we are going to see some warmer days. So this is the HRRR going through this afternoon. I'll stop it here at 5 o'clock. And as we scroll over it, you can see temperatures in the upper 80s to low 90s. Yeah, 93, 92, 94, something like that. But that is warmer than yesterday. The onshore breeze will once again come up in the evening hours, so that by early on Thursday morning, most temperatures are back down into the 50s, so another comfortable start. And then on Thursday afternoon, we will once again see temperatures get back into the range of the mid-90s and maybe even upper 90s in some of the warmer spots. Nothing too excessive for this time of year. The overall pattern still looks pretty good, although the deep trough that we've had around will start to swing out, but still this sort of a pattern here is one that it can be warm, but not overly hot. We have a ridge in the east. Let's see, let me move this over here. So big ridge in the east, which is again contributing to all the heat you're hearing about on the national news. And then we have the ridge off the west coast. So that puts the western states in a pretty good spot. And while it will get warmer with an occasional little ridge like this, there's also the chance that can entrain some moisture. This is getting into Saturday night, Sunday. So if we get enough cloudiness coming up from the south, which is a possibility, we may see the temperature stay below 100 degrees, dim the sunshine a little bit. But if you have any outdoor plans for this upcoming weekend, it'll be warm, but not overly hot. Again, you might hit 100 degrees. And while some people might like to, jump up and down about it hitting 100 degrees at this time of year, 98, 100, it's really nothing, nothing to pick about one way or another. But yeah, maybe it hits 100 degrees on Saturday or Sunday. But then again, maybe it stops at 97 or 98, depending on the amount of breeze and the amount of cloud cover that we might see with this sort of pattern. But nothing, I don't see anything at this point that sends the temperatures to that 105, 108 range that is a lot more noteworthy. Let's put it that way. All right, one other thing I want to talk about is a pattern change, a potential pattern change that we're going to see coming up. So what I'm showing you here is the GFS, and we're looking at the precipitable water across the United States. And this is today, and you'll notice that in these colors here, we have very dry air here, and I'm especially paying attention to Arizona. And then if you go east of there, this is where all the moisture is. And that's where you see thunderstorms. That's where you see the high humidity on the ground. And then as we go through the next few days, you'll notice that from Arizona and to the north, all of this area stays very dry. All the moisture is to the east. This is into the day Friday. All right, now we go through the weekend, and now we're into next week. And now look at where the moisture is. This is next Tuesday night. Now we're starting to see moisture into Arizona, and it's coming up from the south and southeast, and that is the start of the monsoon. Yeah, we may start to see afternoon thunderstorms into Arizona as part of the monsoon, and then this model, we get out into fantasy land, then it starts spreading some of that moisture. This is up into 4th of July weekend, so this is the 5th of July. It starts spreading some of that moisture up our way into California, certainly Southern California. Again, I'll say this is fantasy land. This is out to Monday the 7th. High levels of moisture, and what that would do for us is bring afternoon thunderstorms to the Sierra and maybe cloud cover to our area as well. So that's something to keep an eye on, is the fact it's a big deal for Arizona when the monsoon starts, and we may see the start of the monsoon season in the next, let's say in about a week or so, we may see moisture start coming up into Arizona. That's certainly a kind of another sign of the where we are in terms of the seasons changing. The start of the monsoon season is certainly a sign that we are getting into a midsummer pattern when you get the thunderstorms in Arizona and Utah, and occasionally you get some of that into California as well. Well, that's everything I've got for you on this morning, on this Wednesday morning. Make it a great day. I'll talk with you later.